So looking forwards now, our next map is going to be Cursed Hollow between these two teams. MVP still looks like they're having some fun. Likewise, so does Deadlykittens. I don't think it's possible at this point in the tournament for anybody to not have fun with playing Deadlykittens because their name's adorable. They seem to just be having fun themselves. So you just kind of take it in your stride. What do you think about Curse, guys?
Well, this is, again, where we had Abathur Chen for MVP Black.
Yes,
so I think it's very possible they could play that again, although you're thinking maybe they're going to switch it up?
Yeah, I think, I mean, it might be me. I'm one of those guys, I can't no-life one hero over and over again, right? I've had fun game with Chen #1. I've had fun Chen game #2. I'm against Deadlykittens again. It's the new hero this time. Reset's got to find somebody else, something else new, fun, creative here. Whether it's the Butcher, I don't know, something wild like that.
Don't give J-How the satisfaction,
Okay, you're right. I forgot that J-How's commentating this. I did not actually see the Butcher, but in fact, a different hero that would be equally as radical.
Sounds fair. Sounds fair. Let's get into the draft. Game #2 here between MVP and Deadlykittens.
Versus GG, Reset did play the Butcher.
Which is why I said it. Let's go.
However, that was the one game versus GG they lost. And I don't think they're going so far as to play something that they lost versus GG because they already lost the one game versus Roll20. I'm sorry to burst your bubble, Dread. I'm so sorry.
I believe in the heart of the cards.
All right.
Big fan of the Yu-Gi-Oh series, I see. All right, well, of course, what were Deadlykittens going to ban?
Could be the Genji, could be the Uther, could be any number of things here from the top tournament meta. We're going to have to see.
Who knows out of that list of potentially 5?
Yep.
I think one game we just need to get a hat of like little paper names of all the heroes that we expect out of at least the top half of the draft, and we just randomly pick them out and see how close we can get to accurately deciding the draft.
I mean, you've got two options. Either we have a whiteboard with stickers that we can just kind of like plop on, so you can do like a true analysis draft thing, which would be nice. Or you have an old plasma TV, and we've turned it off overnight. Something's been burned into the ban slot, and then we come back and it can just stay there, like an Uther, for example.
They actually did not pick the Nubrak or the Uther. Instead, going for the Abathur here.
Who is it? Is it a 10 again?
All right, so we've seen Abathur Illidan already. We've seen Abathur with Fat Illidan. I want to see Abathur with Mini Illidan.
Did you say Abathur with Fat Illidan?
Yeah, that's
shit. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Literally, just he's bigger and
what's Mini Illidan?
Who's Mini Illidan?
The Murky. I want to see Abathur Murky.
Oh yeah.
I don't think it's going to happen, but if you're going to vary up your strategy, you might as well go with something like that.
I'm a masochist. I can't believe.
Ever since, like, over the past couple of patches, Abathur got buffed. Murky got reworked a little bit ago, got buffed and nerfed, so he kind of doesn't count, but he got some attention.
Yeah.
Leoric got slightly buffed. Tassadar has been significantly buffed, slightly nerfed, and back to buff.
Oh, don't
Every part of that Leoric Undying Immortal composition has been buffed, and since then I've just been waiting for it to like somebody just pick it and be like, here. Because it is still good. It is. It's a actually viable strategy still in modern day. And I'd be down for it.
Fan, how much pride do you feel right now with him talking about this? Any?
I mean, a good amount of pride. I mean, I think that comp was pretty innovative for its time.
It was.
Not disagreeing.
I would give it the best thought out composition that existed at that point in time. Like, it was very well thought out on how to approach it in the draft and into game.
Back to reality now. What do we think the MVP Black's going to go for 2 and 3?
Well, I mean, a juicy Greymane seems meta, but is it MVP Black meta? That's the question I'm asking myself right now. I mean, it's Cursed Hollow. There's an Uther.
You gotta imagine. Ooh, no Greymane. They do take the Uther, though. I was gonna say the Greymane Uther looks really good there, like you said. Skipping the Greymane.
We just heard a slight whisper on the wind there for a moment.
Slight whisper? Someone screamed, Butcher.
No, I didn't hear a thing. I'm not sure what you're talking about. So, next to the bans, as we continue on.
That someone was J-Hal, by the way. Just casually screaming.
I had no clue what you're talking about.
Yeah, must have been the wind.
Yep.
Well, for Deadlykittens here, you gotta imagine they're banning the Greymane. It's the obvious pick. They didn't pick it. It's too good to not ban, though, I feel like. But we'll see.
I mean, they could commit to like a double reset for Deadlykittens. I do agree that it is like one of those generically strong that I would like to see them focus on it. But again, I don't know, it hits a weird spot where it's like, what is Deadlykittens' full mentality on here? Obviously, it's a little bit lighter toned, but, you know, I guess how much fun are they looking to have here? How much, you know, more wild picks? Like MVP Black is obviously taking a pretty specific direction with it, but they're going to go with a false set, man.
Yeah, and one thing I forgot to mention was they are 3rd, 4th pick, so they don't actually have to ban it. They could just pick the Greymane too. Fits wonderfully in their composition as well.
Oh, toss it up. Nope.
What do we want out of the next rotation for Deadlykittens? In a more serious sense, will you see macro focus on the side of MVP with having the Abathur, so something to concentrate on that with the Haka gone and the Falstead now removed? Illidan?
Illidan's not a bad one for the final pick. I want to see Greymane Malfurion for Deadlykittens if they want to play just standard meta. Those are 2 of the strongest picks available. Insane amount of synergy available with the new Brackley Ming as well. And then you can flex into your last pick, you know, whether it be an Illidan or something else. No longer an Illidan, but something else could still work out.
If not Malfurion as their support, Stronger does play a mean Ariel. Although I don't know why else they would get anything other than Malfurion since it's up, except for the fact that, again, Malfurion into Uther, there's a lot of things that proc Guardian of Ancient Kings there. Do we get Brightwing again?
I hope not.
Oh,
eyes.
Cheese.
I smell it.
Yeah.
Last pick Tyrael.
I want last pick Vikings, but you know, that's
You want
me.
the TLV? You want to run a 1-4?
I feel like if you're running Tyrael, that's... I mean, that could be enough. Medic Sylvanas is pretty darn strong in the early game. Sylvanas, soft counter for the Abathur. Really hard for Abathur team compositions to deal with a team with 5 people just pushing your base in and your base doesn't shoot back. So, I mean... My extreme would be the Vikings there, just all in one lane, try and take them down before they get heroics.
Is there no one else who could just dual soak lanes?
There are.
Leo can get away with it.
Yeah, once you're at 4.
But they can't do it as well as Vikings, and they're vulnerable to dying most of the time. Hey, Sake is getting the Medivh game in here.
Yeah, we did it.
It's pretty cool.
Did you just say that you wanted Tyrael before? Like,
Yeah.
Oh, it's the Vikings.
So there's 2 versions. So there's 2 versions essentially that we could see them commit to, and then one being focusing with the ability to all-in commit with the Sanctification. So you go in with Sylv, and then if at any point they end up getting the pick, you drop the Sanctification, and you pretty much go fort, keep, and all in the core. We've seen it before. It used to be titled Juice Spires in North America. It's not. It used to be ran on Sky Temple. Yeah. It can run on Curse too. But I do agree, like actually taking Chi strategy to heart when you have that weak Abathur, and then you have an absurdly dominant 1-4, like that actually, the Lost Vikings is significantly more effective.
Yeah, I mean, I love the Juice Pirates strategy. The problem with that is for the Juice Pirates to work, you need core killers. So their first 2 being a new Brackley Ming. You know, you want like a Rainer with Hyperion or like an Artanis with amateur opponents. Something that kills the core a little bit faster than those 2 can.
Happy to see Vikings, though, for me personally, as it can always get a little bit wild. Let's go for predictions, starting all the way over there.
MVP Black, but as long as they take Wizen Duelist for Greymane versus the Vikings. Otherwise, my vote has changed.
Okay, we'll keep that in mind.
I suddenly, like many people on the internet, have been infatuated with Kittens suddenly, so I'm going with that Kittens.
Yeah.
Hey, something came over with the cheese, you know? Now that we see the Vikings
Claire showed you a cat video.
Yeah, you know, just 5 minutes on YouTube, I'm in, man.
And we were at Reddit r/or, and there was plenty of Kittens. It was great. Fan?
I have to go with MVP Black on this one. I think it's going to be really close, though. Have to go with MVP in the end. They're a good team.
They're a good team.
Turns out.
Fans expert analysis to a T. Thank you very much, my friend. Let's check in with the vote from the chat. I can only imagine it's ridiculous.
My boys! They know. They've spent time on all 2. Yeah.
Really? I'm looking at you right now. You indeed. You there. Let's get going. Game number 2. MVP Black going up against Deadlykittens.
Now that we've had a chance to take a breath after game number 1, are you excited for game number 2, JL? Vikings?
Why not, right? I mean, Vikings are sure to mix things up the same way they mixed things up in game number 1, so here we go.
What a way to end day number 3 here. MVP Black on the far left, in the blue. Kyocho will be playing Abathur once again. Merry Day on Uther, Tist on Muradin, Sake on Medivh, and Reset on Greymane.
And on the right side, you think 96% of the people out there think are going to win. We are going to have Mur on Anubarak, Zaze on Li Ming, NSJ on Sylvanas, Stronger on Morales, and Inavir playing not just one, but 3 heroes in one on the Lost Vikings.
Well, before we move straight into it, let's talk a little bit of strategy here. The Deadlykittens with the Vikings are aiming to have an early game advantage that is monumental as they move towards level 10. The Vikings soaking in the middle and the bottom lane, while Sylvanas and crew do this. Push into towers and burn them down. MVP Black missing out on the engage that may have happened top and decide to put 3 in the bottom. If they met Sylvanas, whatever. If not, they take out the turrets themselves here with Greymane and crew.
Yeah, they're trying to push in. It's not a bad push either. That's the thing. The only thing is, it's kind of like what Fan said, is that the heroes that you picked aren't exactly sieging heroes. Li Ming doesn't exactly bring that burst down potential. Sake, is he going to go back in? Nah. Either way, the race is going to be a little bit closer than one would think because Worgen form Greymane pretty strong.
It is pretty strong here, and so the race begins, and you're going to see NSJ work on turning off the fort as well as the turret, and the crew are burning it down, but MVP Black will actually grab the first fort, I believe, in the bottom right, just by a smidgen. Now, there is some good news for them. If they did rotate someone up the top lane, they can get the minions starting to stack up that get there before the keep, or at least have Abbott there to block, so they actually take a small advantage overall with this if they're soaked that experience.
Again, the biggest problem with that push is we see MVP Black now finally retreating is that they can't always survive. I mean, it does require a lot of resources from Uther to make sure and heal up. You can't just dive directly on and not be punished. With Sylvanas, it's a little bit different, and Sylvanas is being chased down. E not available for a moment. This might be bad for an SJ.
MVP Black comes in, and they're going to get it here. Sake over the wall. Mur also in trouble. Going to spread out a little bit here and make sure to land him down in case he goes to burrow charge out, and they will get another kill. And this stops the push here from Sylvanas, and we're going to have MVP Black in a pretty solid state as they actually take a lead here against the Vikings.
Yeah, it's not too shabby. I mean, the good thing is that you do have Vikings, and that was keeping up with some of the soak, but surprisingly enough, you find yourself down almost a full level.
Yeah, typically when you have that type of engagement with Sylvanas, you try to rotate to the middle lane to burn out the turrets, because the turrets are what you get in the early game, and they are easily obtainable. But going all the way that forward to go for a keep sets you up for the defense that we just saw with Medivh, Greymane, and Muradin. And they jump on one of your targets, and they get the trade out, and you slow down all momentum that you naturally get with Sylvanas. We're back to the middle lane here, but already MP Black is set up to defend as they have Sake sitting around with Tis, and they've also grabbed Giants. They're putting their own pressure on the battleground before the tributes spawn.
Yeah, Tribute's obviously going to be spawning. We'll get the notification here within the next 10 seconds for the first Tribute of the game. And we do have Viking bribery, but so far nothing. But Tis starting to go in as Mur misses the stun onto Muradin. Stronger is going to go down.
Yes, Morales is the scared one here for Deadlykittens. If she is actually dived upon by Muradin or Medivh, there's no way she's going to escape until she at least has medevac later on at level 10, and he saw the results. Once she's jumped on, she's pretty much going to fall victim if her team can't kill the opponents that are jumping on her. And the first tribute of the game will be going over to MVP Black as they push in the top lane with the aid of this Sake here as he soaks to level 7.
Trick question.
Oh.
When was the last time you saw a Legion of Beetles for Anubarak at 4?
Oh my gosh. Wow. Yeah, it has been a while here. I can automatically spawn a beetle every 8 seconds. Okay, well, extra beetles in the field, but it makes sense against Li Ming if you're going to try and justify it here.
Just block everything.
You block the skill shots. You drop down the W. You have constant types of beetles coming out there. Not a bad pick against Li Ming.
Well, we'll see as this goes on. Closing the experience gap just a little bit is Deadlykittens. The next tribute, obviously, will be here shortly. But the Vikings did get some bribe action going on down in the bottom lane.
Scratch that, by the way. Anubarak is actually on the team here with Li Ming. It's for the Stormbolts from Muradin, but we're going to make it work there. So 7-7 here as Deadlykittens will be pushing the middle lane. Hey, it's getting late here. Sometimes you miss things
Sometimes you just shake your head and agree with the person next to you also.
So far, Deadlykittens have actually done pretty well in terms of getting experience back, but they're not getting any momentum going, which is scaring me. And also, look at the top lane. Those Giants that were grabbed earlier are still sieging away. They've broken down the turrets up there, and they're also pushing back Olaf.
Now the portal going in, debating on whether to go through. As you see, Merryday getting the channel on the backside does confirm the tribute. So they're using that threateningly, and with this back line, I mean, think about it, you're looking at three squishy back lines, and speaking of squishy, NSJ somehow alive as Morales keeps him up for the moment.
Morales, best healing in the game right there, keeping Sylvanas alive, but they're not really trading back on the damage. I'm very fearful here. Wait a minute, did Olaf just die to the Giants on top? Olaf did die to the Giants on the top. I'm very fearful for for Deadlykittens. MVP Black is on their way to level 10 here, and they're dominating an early game that the Vikings should be doing well in, especially with the Sylvanas. This is a coordinated cheese that is so well in the early game that it should get you a nice lead, and it's not here at all. MVP Black is a full level ahead, and they're so close to 10, and this next tribute will give them a curse.
Yeah, and it's very difficult if you're on the side of Deadlykittens that you think, how do we defend this, right? So they're already giving up tribute, and they're making a play towards the bottom. They're going to go ahead and push directly into the bottom fort. Your Vikings should reasonably be able to soak. With that top lane, you'll have the backline defense. The minions have to work their way up and push into the keep. So you have to pick and choose when you want to defend, and it looks like they're going to go ahead and drop back.
Oh, the Kittens pull back. They only saw 2 people on the field, so they weren't sure if they were going to be ganked here in the bottom lane, but I wouldn't mind if they all in that fort in the bottom just to get the experience here, because the 10 is coming right around the corner here. MVP Black is even going straight for a keep. They just push in knowing their full advantage. J-How, how do you stop this if you're the Kittens?
I wish I had a good answer. Test is diving that back line. They're getting directly onto Stronger. You can see Skullcrackers doing work. Kyocha on the clone just barely gets knocked away there. But this mid keep going down. I got to point out one thing, though. Greymane did not go Wisdom Duelist. So therefore, Gilly is obviously rooting for Deadlykittens right now.
Gilly has now put the number up to 97% of people cheering for the Deadlykittens. And 1 fort, 1 keep down the middle. Everything on the outskirts burned down. MVP Black is sitting very pretty. 10 about to hit for the Deadlykittens. And that will give them a chance at going for a fight. But how do you even make a fight work out for you with the Vikings being here? Do you just go longbow and all in?
There is something to consider here, because with Uther, you go into something completely different at 7. You don't go into his version of the cleanse. So if you're looking to blow somebody up, you have a full Li Ming combo, a full stun. I was going to say maybe mind control, but it looks like they're going into Wailing Arrow.
Wailing Arrow here. We also have the Medivac set up. We have Li Ming picking Heroic soon. We do have Cocoon picked up, so bosses being grabbed by the bottom left for Black. And Deadlykittens for a second thought about maybe grabbing the boss in the top right, but with Sake scouting them out, they did pull away. And at this point, one of the things that I think maybe could work out here is if you get MVP Black to look at you somewhere in the middle of the map and you jump into a Medivac and rush towards a keep and burn it down, maybe you can start breaking things down. But right now, they have a boss that will be knocking on their keep on the bottom right side, and they will have to defend it.
I think one of the things, a little bit of an experience on the side of Deadlykittens, they were on their knights, and they saw Sake hovering above on Medivh. So either they didn't know or they were too worried about the potential collapse on them. They did not start their boss while MVP Black grabbed theirs. Now MVP Black will start the push and potential game-ending push here in this bottom lane.
Yep, they're pushing in. Greymane following up. The Medivac call has been made. Okay,
backdoor.
So they're backdooring here. They're going straight for the keep, and they're going to burn it down here with the help of Sylvanas. Now, they don't win a base rate, I don't think, here. They don't have an auto-attacker, so they have to get the keep and then try to get an escape. Let's see if they can just do that. And the keep down to half health, but with members from MVP Black here, they're jumping on top of Stronger, and he is going to be dead.
There they go. NSJ going to be the next to fall. That is 3 members down, all the while as Mur goes down, the Vikings trying to defend against Boss, who is ripped through that keep. And now will make the way to the core. Will be defended, but you got to imagine MVP Black will be going for the boss, potentially, of Deadlykittens.
So, good news for the Kittens. They got that keep down to half health, so if they all in it again, they should be able to get it. There's always that possibility here with the Medivac being on the non-cooldown list, but the boss being grabbed in the top right corner makes things a little bit more difficult, and the win conditions are becoming less and less so here for the Kittens.
The backdoor attempt goes back to exactly what Fan said, is that with this composition, it's almost impossible, as they're going to go back and try it again. They will secure the keep. The boss will be pushing top lane. This time they'll secure the keep. Now there's a really interesting thing the way this works, is that you do it the first time to basically suicide onto the keep. very rarely will you kill the core in the first instance.
Hold on. Base race is occurring
They're
here.
going in!
Greymane on your core is pretty darn intimidating. The cores begin to fall between these two teams, and Deadlykittens are losing out as they are dropping 50% down to 40%, down to 30. MVP Black has their core at 80%, and they will take this game here 75-0. 2-0 here for MVP Black.
Well, I mean, you gotta wonder that if you just swap out that Li Ming for potentially the Rain or something else, maybe your success is a little bit different. Maybe you can control a little differently.
Honestly,
I like that they at least tried it.
If you go for that strat, I think I actually would have switched out the Anubrek with an Artanis. Amateur opponent diving onto the core or to a keep, but that's all in, and super telegraphed. Regardless, Deadlykittens coming out, and man, did they put on a show today.
Yeah, they had a 1-1 series right before this, and then they went 0-2. Obviously, this is a very difficult matchup with MVP Black, so all the credit in the world to them for at least giving a show. They gave us a show to cap off today in that first game, and then that second game, they made things interesting too.
Well, Concave, what did you think about MVP Black and their stellar defense?
It was so close at the end, almost clutched out there by Deadlykittens. I can't believe it didn't go their way. Do you share those thoughts?
You know, at least you can give him this much. The core of MVP Black was, in fact, lower percentage than it was in Game 1, so I'll give him that much.
Well played, well played. Fan, yeah, considering considering that strategy, it was very difficult for the Deadlykittens.
They innovated, right?
They did.
They were like, okay, this part 1 isn't working. We got to pull them off of our core with the boss, so we're going to medevac in, and they almost took out the keeps. They were innovating.
They did kill one keep, I mean.
Yeah.
They did. They did kill one keep. I've been told it's fan time.
Replay time? Okay, yeah, let's go here. So this is their first attempt. I mean, it's the best they can do, you know. They're in a bad situation. They're going to lose if they don't force the backs. So they do force the backs here. Unfortunately, you have 4 people that are stuck behind walls. MVP Black backs up, focus the medic. So, you know, just look at the medic here. They're all saying focus medic, medic here. He dies. Very sad. Medic feels bad, man. And everyone dies. Good attempt, though. You know, the second run over did get the keep down, but MVP Black was in control of that game.
If you'd like to grab that microphone. Good job, Meriday. All right, we are joined by Meriday here after this 2-0 going on. I mean, I'll ask the usual question. So what did you think initially going in against Deadlykittens? What did you expect from them coming in?
처음에 데드리키튼스한테서 뭐 예상하신 거 있나요?
아니요, 딱히 별로 예상한 건 없었는데 그냥 하던 거 하면 이기겠지 싶었는데 뭔가 갑자기 두 번째 경기 때 백도어를 하더라고요. 그래갖고 좀 당황스럽긴 했는데 완성도로 보나 조합 숙련도로 보나 미스피츠 쪽이 좀 더 날카롭고 잘했던 것 같아갖고 그때 경험 살려서 그냥 뭐 하던 대로 그냥 게임 흐름대로 보면서 하면 되겠다 해갖고 그냥 하는 대로 했어요.
So, we didn't really expect anything, but in the second game, the backdoor comp, composition-wise and like how well they played it, like I feel like Misfits played it better.
Right. Okay. That was a while ago, and yet MVP Black still won. Fan, do you have questions?
Yeah, I mean, the team atmosphere for MVP Black seems pretty good. How are they feeling about, you know, themselves in the tournament?
이번 최근 두 경기를 봤을 때 팀 분위기가 되게 좋은데 이후 대회에서 뭐 어떻게 될 것 같나요?
일단 즐거운 분위기 자체가 팀한테는 굉장히 좋은 분위기가 사기 상승이라 그래야 되나? 그런 게 좀 좋다고 봐요. 그래갖고 일단 흐름 자체는 좋다고 보고 있는데 내일 있을 푸나틱이 선전포고를 할 정도로 너무 무서워가지고 어떻게 될지는 잘 모르겠어요.
So, I guess having a really good team atmosphere is really good. Like we are keeping high morale, but Fnatic has like declared war on us. So it would the keeping high morale would actually depend after tomorrow's game.
Does Meriday have a message to send to Fnatic since Fnatic sent a message to him at the hotel?
호텔에서 푸나틱이 이제 메리데이 선수한테 이게 좀 메시지를 전달했잖아요. 프나틱한테 뭐 전달할 말이라도 있나요?
우리는 같이 술도 먹고 카드 게임도 같이 해갖고 좀 친구인 줄 알았더니 이게 웬 약간 뒤통수를 후려갈기는 그런 느낌이라서 너무 무서워요. 눈도 못 마주치겠어요.
I thought we were good friends after like some drinks and parties, but like the message, it's like a slap in the back. Like I'm too scared to even sleep at night.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Meriday, Kansamida, as we do take a look at the groups now here.